All right, guys, I am live here with Wes, the one and only Max's Wes. How's it going out here?
It's going good, man. Just been here since Tuesday, cruising around, checking all the trails, and figure we come over here and watch Huck Fest now.
Yeah, what have you been up to? You've been down camped to a pretty primo spot down there by the trees.
Yeah, the UTV Takeover Guys, they always take care of us when we come here. So, yeah, they got us a prime spot, and basically we've just been hitting the trails. We went out, a bunch of Sandcraft guys are here. We just did a little bit of filming with them right now, ripping through the trails, shooting some GoPro stuff.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to see it, check out at Wes Miller 70.
So you got a brand new orange Pro R down there. How's that going?
It's good. I love that thing. In fact, it's getting pretty whooped out because there's a lot of people here, and that thing that's where it eats.
Yeah, no, it doesn't stop for anything.
Yeah.
You can go full bore straight into the whoops or in the trails where it gets all off camber and everything, and just one-hand it.
Yeah, and I used that. We did a bar 10 ride, and then I used it to pre-run for the Baja 500, and that thing was definitely the best UTV pre-runner I've ever had.
Almost basically out of the box.
Yeah, my car's pretty much stock.
Yeah,
we threw like some Momo seats and harnesses in it. Put Maxxis tires and DWT wheels, but just basic stuff. I haven't even touched the suspension on it yet. I think we're gonna do a shock therapy spring kit, but and then eventually I think I'll actually put shocks on it. But
so you have your race program going. Are you going to be converting over to a Pro R, or are you going to be sticking to the old Betsy?
Well, we're gonna run our existing car in Score the remainder of this year. It's just it's race proven. It goes really well, and then I just want time to develop our Pro R. So we're working on building a Pro R right now, but I think towards the end of the year you might see us at like a snore race or something smaller. Even I guess not Score events. I don't want to call them those small, but I guess not the. I'm not going to do the Baja 1000 on an unproven car.
Right. So you're out here representing Maxxis and Polaris and all those brands. What kind of experience are people having out here with the demo rides and everything else?
It's pretty cool here because if you haven't driven a Pro R, Polaris has their whole semi here, and they've got their demo team. So you can go out, demo a 2-seat or a 4-seat Pro R. I think they've got a couple other models there too. So it's a really cool opportunity because if you're not sure what you want to drive, you can go do it real world here and see what works the best. And so it's an awesome thing for the consumers, and I think that having Polaris and some of the other manufacturers at events like this, it really helps support it. I mean, this is insane, like how many people are here. Right. I don't know if you've done some pan arounds, but it's like freaking crazy.
It just gets bigger. The crowds just get bigger and bigger over the week until Huck Fest, as our big cherry on the top, right?
We're like sitting here right now, and there's all these people in the dunes and the trees, and
and there's like camouflage tents back there. People are chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely a vibe out here on the dunes.
For sure.
And
it's really cool.
The nice thing I like about having the OEs come out to events like this is you as a family can go in the car and experience it, right? Like a lot of times I'm like, I want the biggest, baddest, whatever. My wife's like, why don't we have a windshield and air conditioning and stuff? Like, why can't we have that? Well, maybe let's go out and try that, And they even have like little guy cars up there. They got the 200 up there and stuff like that. So definitely worth their time to come out and check it out.
Well, and I think too, back to like the demo rides, a lot of you guys out there, your wives are like, hey, why do you want to spend so much money on a Pro R? Well, come take her for a ride and then she'll want it. So
I'll tell you what, the suspension makes you a believer.
Yeah, I think I've ruined a couple of my friends because they've gone for rides with me and they're like, oh,
we got a guy over here nodding his head.
And they're like, now I got to buy one. It's a good testament to how well they work. Because I think it's like once you ride in one, you're sold.
Yeah, so. It's kind of like the experience of UTV in general, right? Like everyone's like, why would you even want to do that? And then they go out and do it, and they're like, crap, now I got to buy one.
Yeah, not like two of my other buddies that are like in bands and stuff and haven't really done a whole lot of off-road. I took one of them for a ride the other day, and he came back today because he's like, oh, this is so cool, So I mean, it's yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that have never experienced something like this, and once you come, I think you're kind of hooked.
Right. So we got tons of brands, tons of people down here. What are one of your favorite things to do out here, besides rip?
I mean, for me, like coming to these events, I work with a lot of different companies, so you kind of have a lot of friendships over the years. So just kind of mingling around, talking to my buddies. I think catching up with my sponsors. Like I said, we did that Sandcraft ride. It's good to kind of have that bonding and be able to just bro down, and then also like test products. Like they had some developmental stuff that's like prototype that I got to try yesterday and run it.
Yeah.
And so that was cool.
You're supposed to say it went really well and you can't wait to see it come out.
Hey, it did go really well, and I can't wait to see it come out. But to me, it's just like seeing all these people, everybody's having a good time. Just the scent is what I like, I think. Outside of obviously the thing I have the most fun doing is just hauling ass through the dunes. But
right, for sure. So Huck Fest is about to go down here in about 11 minutes. I hope everyone stays safe and makes good choices. It's a little windy out here today, so they'll definitely leave it up to the drivers to choose if they want to jump into the wind or not. We had kind of a similar experience in Oklahoma last year where the wind really turned up a notch right during Huck Fest, and we shut it down for a little bit just to make sure everyone was on the same page. But we had Willie Fest coming. Everyone had a good time during that, and the winds are now really kicking up. So hopefully we have a good show. Hopefully we have a safe show. Obviously, we never want to see anyone hurt. So
yeah, for sure. It's like Huckfest is so gnarly. The first UTV takeover that I went to was when Al was jumping at Sand Hollow.
Oh.
And he had a big crash there.
Yeah, his 200 and some odd foot
nosedive.
nosedive.
And I was just, I'm watching this, and I did all the Huevos videos, and so I've seen like guys do huge jumps on quads and a lot of freestyle shows and stuff like that, but it's like you still get like a little bit of butterfly in your stomach watching like your friends do stuff like that. And
people don't realize the jump in Sand Hollow. Everyone just sees the landing part, like the blue sky to red ground thing.
Yeah.
But you don't realize, because I was under him when he jumped with the camera.
Yeah.
He had to come from a beach setting up a ramp that was, into a dune basically to see nothing. He just saw sky.
Yeah.
And then he jumped over a gap that was the entire like Huck Fest, Willie Fest gap, and then went downhill and landed 220 feet down the side of a frickin' sand dune.
Yeah, I talked to Al like right before he did it, and it was so gnarly because I'm like, wait, you're gonna do what? You're gonna come wide open from here and hit this and try to land there?
Right.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, no problem.
No problem.
And I'm like, okay, dude. Like, and it was like that lip had a lot of pop.
Right.
It wasn't like just this mellow, like high speed jump.
Right.
That thing had pop. It was like a dirt bike jump.
Yeah.
And like when I saw it, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, and they put
you're going for this thing.
Yeah, the team had put a lot of time and effort into building that jump, and as you know, in Sand Hollow, that sand is very glassy.
Yeah.
And even if you have the perfect cut and it's wet, it's going to dry out, and then it's going to start to slough down, and you basically have to maintain it until you're ready to go. Yeah. And nobody wants to jump into a jump that just has the tracks come straight off of it, right?
Yeah.
So no, props to him for just having the cojones to do what he does, and congrats to him for his retirement up in Canada and getting to go into the mountains and do what he loves. He's actually a volunteer firefighter. He's a guy that goes out into the mountains and helps people, save things. He's a snowmobile rescuer. Like, he does a ton of stuff up there. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, super cool guy. I think really like set the bar pretty high. But now you got these young guns out here.
Right.
That are chomping at the bit. So I mean, it's going to be exciting to watch. And I'm kind of curious to see how many guys are in this.
It varies every year, because the unique thing about UTV Takeover is that you are allowed to participate as anybody, right? Like, you can just show up and participate. There are some ground rules for what you need to have to huck or, race or whatever, safety reasons, right? But anyone can come. And if you're a guy that likes to throw down on the weekends, you can come huck it, right? As well as the athletes, as well as the professionals that build cars, like Colton, who has built that YXZ Huckleberry. Yeah. That thing is amazing.
Yeah.
But that car is built around safety.
Right.
That car is built to stay together and keep the occupants safe. has a custom seat, custom harnesses, neck restraints, has custom shocks, all the things above, right? And I think it's important that people that realize that this is about safe fun, not necessarily, you know, just risking your life for the show.
Yeah, yeah. I think when you're doing something like this, you definitely want to take it seriously. You know, and you know, you don't want to just come out here in a stock car and try to do something like this. You want to have your suspension set up properly, have the right seat, harness, all of that. You know, a really solid cage, because you know every now and then these things do go south.
Right.
So
yeah, we've seen
safety is important.
We've seen it go down, you know, in ways where people are picking up parts at the end, and it's never fun to have to be in that position. But as long as you're safe and you had a good time and you can walk away and have a good story to tell, you know, that's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
we're here in Coos Bay. We are just about 7 minutes away from Huck Fest taking off. We have you got some cool people here. We got Blake Wilkie, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
We got a whole bunch of athletes. We got Ruslan jumping. He's always willing to throw down and put on a good show. We got tons of people down there, plus whoever shows up to jump. So hopefully we have a good show. Last year was a little bit of a bummer just because of the wind and the jump and a bunch of different factors. And this year we've returned to this side of the dunes instead of the far side of the dunes. And unfortunately the wind gods are not in our favor right now, but
yeah.
Hopefully it kind of dies down for us.
I mean, today is the best it's been all week. So
yeah, it was pretty great this morning, honestly.
This morning it was dead calm.
Yeah, and the sun didn't go anywhere. It's just still in the sky.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But you know, that's the coast. That's the Northwest.
I think one of the things that is cool about a lot of the athletes that are here is, you know, someone like Ruslan. You know, yesterday we were out with him shooting GoPro in the dunes, and then this morning he ran the drag race and he won.
Right. In Brian Crowder TPR car.
Exactly. Yeah,
that thing's a build stroker. That thing is gnarly.
That thing was ripping. I saw that go and I was like, wow, that was impressive.
Hey, can you not stand in front of our Starlink? That's our heartbeat right there. Thanks.
So yeah, that car was ripping, and you know, I think Ruslan's small and light. It's got good reaction time, and
yep.
You know, so that,
and he's been jumping forever.
Well, yeah, what's cool is, like, so he won the drag race, and now he's going to do Huck Fest, and he did some of the other events, you know, so you have some guys that are very well-rounded drivers that are out here.
No, and it's totally awesome to see the young generation of racers and jumpers and stuff come into their own and really develop their programs. And
I hadn't met Wyatt Hastings, but, like, you know, Wyatt's ripping out there.
Dude, he's a rocket.
Yeah.
And he's got a well-built car. He's got a good power tune on that thing. And he's ready to throw down whenever anyone else is ready to throw down. And it came down to him and BJ Leach at the short course races yesterday. And it was really a great time. Unfortunately, he blew a belt. He fixed it. They went to go back into it. Then BJ had some transmission and engine mount problems and things like that.
Is that what that was on
Yeah, he had a handful of things all happen at once. So the unique thing about BJ and those guys is they're all buddies. They're all real close. They don't live near each other, but they're all real close because they come to events like this, race series and other things, and they just go to have fun and throw down.
Yeah. Wyatt and BJ, I thought that was going to be a really close race. And it kind of sucks that Wyatt blew a belt and then BJ had a mechanical problem, because, you know, it was really looking like it was going to come down to that last race.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and it'd be winner take all. And those guys, I was watching how hard they were driving into the corners and stuff there, and I mean, they were on it.
Yeah, their foot never came off.
Yeah.
And it's evidenced by some of the photos and videos that we got, and we did a test live stream, so if you were joining us on that, you experienced that same exhilaration. And like I said, those cars are well-built cars. They have a lot of really high-end components in them, and those kids, BJ and Wyatt, they definitely know how to throw that car around. So BJ actually had a Pro R, and he took the front end out this last week on a head-on collision, so he couldn't get parts in time. But Wyatt's been focused on building a great program, a high-power car, and has built his skill set over the last couple of years. And this last year, his whole program was about, I need to find the biggest, fastest guys and race those guys. It's not about winning, it's about overcoming and learning.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for anyone that's looking to be a racer these days, right? Like, you have to shoot for the moon straight from the get-go, because if you're not trying that hard, you're not going to get to that level.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think anybody that's racing, when you show up to a race, you should have the expectation of winning. And if you don't, then you need to focus on that and change your goal, you know. But I mean, you know, that's I think anybody that's in the upper echelon of racing, when you show up, you're there to win. So this is going to get pretty cool. Everybody that's watching right now, grab your popcorn, get your beverages ready, because Huckfest is about to go down.
It looks like we're getting started. So we just had a jump from Brandon Raddick in the Dravet syndrome car, bringing awareness to the Dravet syndrome disease that one of our buddies, Rich Maxey, has with his son Zach, which creates seizures uncontrollably and unpredictably. We always like to promote those guys and help those guys out, because it really is an unfortunate disease that really touches home with me, you know, with some of the issues I had with my kids during birth and things like that. But knowing Zachary and that family, and Rich Maxey, shout out if you guys are watching. They're at the Dravet syndrome convention this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Hopefully he's all right.
All right, we're gonna get some. Wow.
Yeah, that was. That's what you don't want to see.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But
so,
it looks like he is okay.
So they're gonna push his car over right now. He's got the thumbs up. He's moving. Who we just saw was Colton Bybee and Huckleberry. We just talked about him. Looks like some guys are picking up wheels in various parts of his car. Looks like the wind took his nose up. Looks like he kited it, and when he came down, he slapped the front end and took it out. But it looks like he's okay. They're going to be extracting his car and all that. He's getting out of the car right now. Colton is the man.
Right.
He's focused on safety, and that's paying off right now with him jumping out of the car. I mean, that was a big hit. That was a big hit.
That was gnarly.
And he's out of the car. He's standing. He's taking his helmet and stuff off right now. He has helmets, next gens. He's got the full safety seat.
Yeah.
He has all of it. So that's just a testament to building a good car for this purpose.
No, definitely. I mean, exactly what we were talking about coming into this is that's a perfect example. You know, and one of the things that I find interesting is I come from like a motocross quad background, and in that, when you're jumping, you can adjust the attitude of the car or the bike or the quad in the air. And with these, once you're in the air, there's not a whole lot you can do. Yeah,
right.
You can gas it, tap the brake a little bit, but you're really, when you take off the lip, it is what it is.
Right.
And so
that's something we've talked with Al about in the past at shows when they were doing Huckfest. You can only do so much up to the lip of the jump and throttle off of that jump, and then once you're in the air, you only have two options: throttle and brake. Yeah. And almost never do you want to brake. And so,
although maybe for him that would have helped.
That may have helped
because he was nose high there.
Yeah, I'll have to go look at the video afterwards and see if he tapped it or not. But he definitely went nose high. So this is just you know, another example of the dangers of what we do in off-road, right? Like if we're going to push it hard, we have to be ready to